Hi everyone, this is Anil. Welcome to Vendor Risk Management video series. In this video, we'll talk about introduction to VRM, and then we'll do a demo of the plugins to be installed, vendor risk overview dashboard. So let's get started. So VRM is part of ServiceNow GRC portfolio. It is targeted to address concerns that come with vendor. It has 6 capabilities: vendor portfolio, vendor tiering, assessment management, vendor portal, issues and remediation, and GRC integration. Out of all these, assessments is a highly focused area, and vendor portal is a great feature which provides vendors ability to answer assessments and remediate issues. And the benefits, we are bringing efficiency through automation, reduce risk exposure, response to high-risk vendors, increase communication, leverage a unified platform. So the process of vendor assessment has all the steps. The first one is a request comes to risk management team, and this is outside scope of VRM uh, app request process. The first step in the process will be initial tiering, which is performed. And depending on the tier, an assessment is assigned to the vendor and sent to the vendor. And vendor will respond to it. Then risk analyst will generate findings. And if there are any issues or any confirmation or remediation is needed, that is sent back to vendor through issues, or the assessment is sent back to vendor. And based on the findings and status of the issues, residual risk of the third party is determined and reported. Then we'll continue to monitor third party, and the assessment process repeats periodically. And finally, uh, the retirement process where we retire the vendor, which is again outside scope of this the process which is tracked in ServiceNow. So in terms of tiering, tiering is done based on referring to internal process, uh, based on the understanding of the vendor by the organization, as in what does the vendor do and how does he support us and so on. Then we talk about vendor risk overview dashboard. So before we talk about that, we look at the plugins to be installed, and then we'll talk about the dashboard. So if you go to the applications, all applications, you'll see that these are all the plugins which are there as part of the search criteria. Now under this, if you look for vendor risk management, there are 5 licensed plugins which are available. Out of those, this is the core plugin, which is GRC vendor risk management, SN_VDR risk ASMT. It's a paid plugin, and the version is 15.07. You can look at the release notes by clicking on this link here. And then we have this other additional plugins depending on SIG questionnaire integration if you want, or if you want to use the SIG questionnaire capability, and if you want to use the workspace, which is a very cool feature. And then if you want to bring any data from EcoValdis, a third-party content provider, for ingesting ESG scores. Uh, so these are all the different plugins which are available. And now we'll jump on to vendor risk overview dashboard. So to navigate to the dashboard, you'll type vendor here, and then under vendor risk, there is a module called overview. When you click on that, it takes you to this dashboard. This dashboard has 2 tabs, vendor and engagement. Now, what is the difference between these two? We'll see that in the next videos. So under vendor, you have all these different widgets like total vendors, open tier assessments, open risk assessments, past tiering assessments, tier recommendations, tier recommended risk assessments. And then you have this breakdown, like a donut breakdown based on the tiering of the vendor, and then vendor performing risk assessment based on tiering, right? So who are the vendors which are actually performing risk assessment? And then if there are any issues, then those you can see based on the priority of the issue. And then vendors by risk rating, one more breakdown. You can also see any assessments which are upcoming in future, right? Then coming to engagement, you will see that again, similar set of widgets, but based for the engagements. So as you can see, total tiering assessments, risk assessments, past tiering assessments, past risk assessments, and then classification of engagements based on tier, vendor engagement count based on type of engagement. So there are different engagement types, like how was the vendor engaged with the company. For example, is he's doing a software engagement or a hardware engagement, or just staffing outsourcing or service outsourcing and so on. And then engagements by risk rating, engagements by priority. And then if you have any issues for these engagements, then those you can see by priority. So this is the scope of this video. We will see the rest of the stuff in subsequent videos. Thank you.